Croeso nôl I Poetry is Alive and Well. Welcome back. So we're still here with Rufus Mufasa. Now, before the break, you started answering Annie's question. Now, you said that you saw the Welsh language, every word as a beat, or every syllable as a beat.
Yes, so I wouldn't necessarily call myself a beatboxer, and a lot of my Welsh language stuff sounds quite Arabic, especially the earlier stuff, and I guess I'm kind of exploring my connection, or my Welsh language connection to North Africa, which sounds completely insane. But we might have to have another show dedicated to that. So I'll give you a quick example of how I see.
She's booked herself into the next show. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So, for example, it would be like, Imlan break, craig, your kelch, Shavir Bluch, Ed, Timafet, Achosiclebit, Shemed, Timla. So.
Oh, wow. wow. I saw The Lion King in the West End last week. And the person that plays, or what's its name, or the one with the stick, actually performed that on stage, and I thought that's amazing. And you've actually done that with the Welsh language.
With the Welsh language,
that's brilliant.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
So, and I just try to. I think the Welsh language becomes so complicated in terms of people pleasing with it, about rules and regulations and all this stuff. And I just kind of ignore that for my artistic license. I think that is the.
So you're not going down the Cynhanedd route.
I wouldn't. Yes and no. I mean, I think the Cynhanedd has got a place, but I think sometimes that I might be opening a whole can of worms, but sometimes with the Welsh language, I think that's how people lose it, because other people make them slightly feel uncomfortable about using it.
I'm with you on that one.
Good.
Yeah, whereas people should feel free to, however they use it.
Don't worry about mistakes. Don't worry about spelling in English or Welsh or whatever. Just do it.
There can be some snobbery attached, can't there?
Yes.
As you know. Is it patois you call that?
I don't even know what.
I think it is, from North Africa.
It's quite. I think patois, you might be right, but I would associate patois as kind of Jamaican, West Indies.
Really? Okay, yes. Maybe I got it wrong then. But I mean,
it's
whatever.
A good word, though.
It is quite, I suppose, quite patois.
Yeah, but I just love the sound of it. That was brilliant. How did you come about? I mean, I know we're going away from the actual poem here that we'd love for you to read. But how did you go about? Was that just an exploration of?
I think so. I don't know if it was a sort of theatre exploration, or my first ever love was Harry Belafonte. So I was introduced to calypso music from very, very young age, and the real roots of reggae, and I guess all of that intertwined with Dylan Thomas books I found, and the Welsh language, and all these things just, I suppose, make me me.
Brilliant. You seem to absorb lots of different cultures and lots of. You seem to be a people person, and you love people's stories.
I love people. I love their stories. I love just this. It's just.
No, we could talk to you for hours and hours.
Talk about your children first. Thank you.
Go on, then.
Go on, then. You have 2 daughters.
Yes.
How old are they?
Almost 3 and almost 6 months old.
Oh, you've got a handful there, haven't you?
Yes.
Terrible twos.
3-nagers. That's a new one I've heard described.
Three-nagers.
3-nagers.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
So it's fun.
Do you sing or say nursery rhymes to your children?
Yes, absolutely. Alice, she has been calling me mum, hiya, hello from 9 weeks old, and that does sound like to get your head around. Molly was about 3.5, 4 months old. So language, they've obviously had it from the womb. It's a big part of our households.
I think that nursery rhymes are things that we should really encourage.
Absolutely,
to be told.
absolutely, yes.
But the sad thing is nobody's doing new ones.
I was about to,
We kind of do a lot of freestyling in our house.
I can imagine you do.
She's a really good freestyler, which again sounds, hard to believe. So potentially she'd be at the Slam next year. I don't know.
Yeah, she's welcome.
Is there a lower age limit on the poetry?
Yeah, we do have an age limit. What we've said is 16 is about right,
yeah,
really, because it's a night with fairly adult themes and content, particularly in terms of the performance poetry side of it. So
but it's not to say that you can't do a junior slam in a different...
No, and actually we have been talking about setting up a school slam, so that might be the next step for getting sort of younger kids involved to sort of develop them and their qualities as well. Yeah.
Anything to get people talking and sharing. I mean, you got the royals, especially Prince Harry, talking about like mental health and discussing things. You can't get enough words, can you?
And performing from a young age is a heck of a remedy, is a help.
I think so. But with the new writing for young people and children, I think that's coming into my stream of consciousness.
Right.
As well.
Good.
Somehow.
Good.
Do you know what? We're going to be going into the Today Show now at 1 o'clock if we don't get to this poem.
Today tomorrow.
Today tomorrow, exactly, and then the next day. So, would you mind reading the poem to us?
Torn between fear and pride, 14-year-old little lamb to be sacrificed, offerings to the gods run through the mind's veins. Is today the day you'll be claimed? They may as well chain your feet, watch you waste away in an authorised heat, and you can never defeat or take a back seat. You see, the rules and regulations don't apply to these fools that use their bare hands as tools to keep the big cogs turning. For the fire that's burning, to feed the boss man's yearning for more, yes, more, gives out more chores, but never no more money. Isn't that funny? Means tested, pleading poverty, because their work can't support me and my spouse and my house that I'm never in, always working for the boss man who does not bore. For the boss man who offers no health plan, who doesn't care about the wear and tear or the real price of their shortened lives and their dry tired eyes and their rotting decides and their dry tired eyes because they can never disguise their destinies, hopelessly hereditary, passed down the family tree. You see, that's what my boy will be. And my boy's boy, you see, because there's no way out. Nobody hears them shout, but they all hear her calling them to work, and they march hypnotized, drunk on pride, caught. Some even fought for this. Caught. Some even fought for this. 5 brothers from 7 sisters in the Davies Valley. They was blinded and could not see clearly. Hopefully there won't be no coal mine in the sky. He's only 14. Please don't make my boy mine. Llan Aberfan, Garnan Ketli Cadlis. Llan Aberfan, Garnant Getli Cadlis. Timlan. Oh, he's Kemni Ponasam Gerard und wie der Korf Jachbisten Parat Timlan. Oh, he's Kemni Ponasam Gerard und wie der Korf Jachbisten Parat.
That's excellent.
I've never heard anything like it.
No. Stunning.
Oh, bless you.
I think this is what marks Rufus out at the Slam. Of course, Rufus won it. Not only did she win £100, but she won the trophy and a feature slot at the Dinotka Gentle Festival. But it's the fusion of styles and the fusion of sounds as well. And this is where we like to see poetry going, because it's new and it's different, and a lot of people haven't heard these things before. So.
And it's a story of Wales.
Absolutely. And I think the Slam was like the day after the elections, so there had been so much talk in the air, so much, and this was taken, I guess, from my forefathers, my uncles, my grandfather, all ex-miners, that's where I've come from. And I remember them I was a small child, and them telling me with tears in their eyes, please don't let certain people get back into power, and all this stuff that you don't really understand when you're a child faced with this information. And it just really saddens me just a lot of things that's happened and is continued to happen. Moving aside from politics, I mean, this is just a testament to those terraced houses that we have all come from in some way or other, and yeah.
At the end of the poem, there's some lines in Welsh.
Yes.
What do they mean? And I love the sound of them. I'm not a Welsh speaker.
We've got 10 seconds before
so what
we
do
need
they mean? Very quickly.
Llan, Aberfan, Garnan, Gelli Gadlis, these were all areas that were massively impacted by mining disasters.
What does this mean?
The last bit, Tid mlaen boys, come on boys, we'll get a bonus for another bucket, but you are unhealthy body will never last.
That's all I can say is thank you so much for your contribution. Da a chroeso I Poetry is Alive and Well. Good afternoon and welcome to Poetry is Alive and Well with me, Chris Davies and
Annie Pelleschi.
And now we welcome back, if you remember from the last episode, we had Gwion Iqbal Malik, and welcome back, Iqbal.
Hi, thank you.
Hello. And we also have Rufus Mufasa.
Hi, it's so lovely to be here.
It's so lovely to see you. Thank you for coming in.
You're more than welcome.
Now, we've got you in because in the last episode we discussed the Swansea Poetry Slam. Now, you took gold in the poetry. You won the Poetry Slam, didn't you?
It was just so lovely. I just really loved the scene that you have here, and I kind of denied about joining you all, and I turned up on my own, and just everyone was so beautiful and literally made me feel so welcome, and so that should really be a credit to your scene and the poetry scene in Swansea. Yes, and I won, so that was amazing.
Done. Well done.
Thank you.
Was it your first time?
No, so I'm a performance art poet. Primarily, I am a rapper, lyricist. I do lots of stuff with music, anything to do with words. So that was my first, I guess, slam competition outside of kind of the rap field. And yes. So I don't know what came first, the poetry or the rap, the poetry, but I think it's all of the same house.
Well, people, myself included, will think of rap as poetry.
Thank you so much. That's so refreshing to hear.
So it's an obvious blend that you've got,
yes.
I think, in both, you know?
Yes.
Why did you pick this slam? Why?
I don't even really know how I came across some of your posts.
Social media, wasn't it?
It must have been.
It was like Carl as well.
Thing.
I think, yes, the social media thing. It's just like it's quite easy to just find stuff, isn't it? Like that.
Powerful tool now, isn't it?
I guess the stars just planted themselves among us, me and Carl. And Carl was just such a beautiful part of the slam as well, I think. So both of us coming from very different backgrounds, and he hasn't done it for about 12 years, and we just kind of coached up together for the slam. Just really just enjoyed the evening, watching everybody there and listening to everyone's stories and voices. And so Swansea, I'm from Swansea. Well, I'm from Ammanford originally, and then I lived in Swansea for a few years, and I always have this fondness of Swansea, and I'm kind of feel like I'm having this sort of love affair with Swansea at the minute because it seems to be in so much of my story and journey and practice and everything at the moment. So the fact that I came for the slam is just another thing that's going to come back to Swansea.
What do you think it is about Swansea then that you know is so attractive to you, that keeps on bringing you back? What do you think it is?
Do you know, I've been, particularly the last few days, I've been trying to work that out because I've been doing some projects with the Volcano Theatre, and that was another thing. I hadn't been to Swansea for so many years, and I felt a little bit when I came for a hip hop event, and I felt slightly saddened because it looked a bit. The only way I can describe it, you know, you have this ex-boyfriend that you kind of put on this pedestal, and then you see him years later and you're like, time was not good to you. And then you kind of, I felt a little bit like that about Swansea. But then I had to sort of eat. I had to like eat my words, because I found the Volcano Theatre and I thought, this is such a big deal, because I've been following the volcano for so many years. And there's just so many beautiful, beautiful things happening quite quietly around the city. And I think that's what would be the most beautiful thing to happen to Swansea, is that all these beautiful things will happen, but it will not be able to be gentrified. Do you understand what I mean? I'm really excited about that, and I would love to be part of that somehow.
Well, Swansea, of course, in history tried to be gentrified, didn't it? And it didn't get there because of the industry.
Yes.
So maybe that set the pattern. Maybe that's the pattern that we've got.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, explain a bit about the gentrification, you think.
So the high street, I don't know how much time you guys have spent there recently. I mean, I seem to have been just writing pages and pages and pages of poetry about the high street at the moment. And it just has fascinated me with regards to the architecture. There's just so many beautiful layers there, where you have sort of this bottom layer that is very new, and then you kind of, if you dare to look up, it'll really take your breath away. It's just so mismatched. It's so collaged. There's so much that I really wish I understood architecture better to be able to explain it. But if you look, and you will find that you have these beautiful buildings on your high street, and very slowly things are kind of, people are, I think there's been a slight reputation where people have for some time been quite scared of the high street. But they're losing that fear now, and they're looking up, they're looking around, they're kind of going, oh my God, we have something really, really beautiful here. Cinnamon Core, where the slam was. Beautiful venue. We're having a lot of independent venues and businesses, rather than it being your Costa, your Starbucks, all these kind of sneaky little chains that want to kind of get a piece of the pie.
But I think there's a lot of organic stuff coming up in the art scene there, isn't it? And I think that's what is really marking High Street out. I mean, obviously Swansea is it officially going for the 2021 Capital of Culture bid? So,
wow.
There's lots of things kind of moving in the background, but I think what it's taken is not just the Swansea Council to do these things as well and to get behind stuff, but it's also things are happening by people who are just starting things up for themselves. The slam was started by us as just an idea that we just wanted to start promoting poetry. Then you've got the Denotka General Festival, which will be on High Street, and you've got the Troublemakers Festival. Sorry.
I was just going to add to that. But what's that cafe where they've got a piano in the corner there? It's on the High Street, a new cafe. It's such lovely staff there, and they're so welcoming.
The Heist.
Is that up the volcano?
Yes, I think it is. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, lovely space there. I mean, places like that, like you said. Yes. So, I mean, what's the connection with your poetry and this whole thing?
With Swansea?
With Swansea and the gentrification and what you've noticed, what you've just explained.
Well, I think it's taken me quite some time in my own work. So kind of going off Swansea slightly, I was in the woods last week with my friend. She's a graffiti artist. Amelia, her art name is Unity. She's amazing. And obviously a female graffiti artist is something you might not expect, but her work is so beautiful and feminine and really packs a punch at the same time. And we were discussing about how so we can't tell you where it is. It's a secret location in the woods with this decaying building. We've kind of taken over with our art.
Very Banksy, all this secretive.
It's really quite amazing. I might tell you one day, because potentially we would really like to put on a site-specific theatre piece there.
Okay.
And that's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
But we had this discussion about how in really run-down areas and when buildings become so neglected, and that's when the artist will give it the attention it deserves. And then that runs the risk of, that makes that area or that site extremely popular, and these artists that came in and did everything so organically, they can't afford to be there anymore, and that's happening you know, everywhere at the minute politically in all the cities. We could look to London. I won't really go into that in depth.
It's always been the same, though, isn't it? You get run-down areas that get taken over by a sort of arty scene. I think that's kind of what's happening as well on High Street.
Yes.
You know, you've got the Pottery Street subway.
Interesting.
You've got the Pottery Street subway, which is being used quite extensively with the graffiti artists there. And that is making it a centre point for other artists to come and sort of share their ideas, and so it's all a bit of a melting pot.
Yeah. So I think with the gentrification thing, it's something that's just organically happening in my conversation with myself and my spaces I'm working in. But I really believe that Swansea has that ability to not allow it to be this art hub without the whole people coming in and using your artists as like shock troops almost to kind of...
Well, can we get back to your poetry?
Very interesting.
I know you're going to sort Swansea out, but the poem that you read first, or recited first, performed first in the slam, was really, I felt, very powerful.
Thank you.
It had certainly had a message under there. But you are a Welsh speaker, aren't you?
Yes.
I can hear it from your accent.
I can never shake that up.
Why would you want to?
Exactly.
Why would you want to shake it?
Absolutely. It's beautiful and proud.
So do you write poetry in Welsh? And if you do you find it more difficult, or are you more controlled when you write in Welsh rather than English?
I have to say, we've got 20 seconds before the break, so if you could just give us a little introduction into, and then we'll continue after the break. But
okay, so in answer to your question, I'm really not quite sure. Particularly with the Welsh language, I see every letter as a beat, so it's almost the Welsh language becomes this musical score that I can't quite explain.
We'll have to finish right there. We'll continue after the break. Stay with us, and we'll see you in 2 to 3 minutes. Chuck the kettle on and we'll see you in a bit.